I'm Pat Whitehorn from Phase 9, and joining me is Nicki Micheaux.
That's good.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Who is the star of the new feature-length film, Lowlife, which is currently showing here in London. So, Nicki, I'd like to begin by asking you just to give us a kind of summary of the plot.
Ooh, well, there's this sex trafficking, organ harvesting ring, and my daughter is involved in it. And I decide one day to go save her from this place, and comedy ensues. So I joined up with a Mexican luchador and an ex-con, and I grabbed my shotgun and we're off to try and rescue my daughter from this world. It is the most bizarre mashup, crime thriller, and a bit of comedy, very, very bloody movie.
It seems strange then that it's actually in a horror genre.
It's not. Well, because FrightFest does horror, sci-fi, thrillers, crime. So we're crime and bloody and stuff like that. But we just go where they get us, and they really seem to be getting us, and the crowd seem to really be responding. And it's just a good old-fashioned go to the movies and have a good time and yell at the screen. It's great.
So can you tell us a little bit more about those three characters, your character and the other two that you hook up with?
Well, I don't want to give it away, so I'll try to be brief. First off, there's a Mexican luchador, a Mexican wrestler, luchador with the mask, and he has sort of fallen from grace, and he's just sort of suffering, working under this oppressed guy, and his wife, who's my daughter, is pregnant, and he's just more concerned about carrying on the legacy because his name is El Monstro, and it's like this whole Mexican wrestler legacy, and he's failing the legacy. He's not able to live up to it. Okay, and then my character is a recovering addict, and I gave up my daughter at a very young age, and I end up partnering with him to help get my daughter, his wife, back, who've been kidnapped by a couple of ex-cons who are working for Big Bad Teddy. There you go. That's about as good as I.
It sounds a very bizarre plot, but it's quite interesting how the film is done because it's done in chapters. There are 3 chapters.
Yes.
So fiends, monsters, and thugs.
Yeah. So I'm fiends, the addicts. Yes. Mm-hmm.
And so apart from fiends, then which of the other?
The monsters is El Monstro, that's the luchador, and then thugs are the 2 ex-cons who kidnapped my daughter.
So it's very interesting, that structure, because you get the backstory of each of the characters. So even though they sound very bizarre and outlandish, the audience actually gets to sympathize with each of the characters.
Well, that was sort of the point, was they wrote a movie about lowlifes, people who you would see and cross the street, people you want nothing to do with, and normally who would be side characters in any other movie, and made them the main character. It's about them. And I think that's what's really powerful about the movie, because in a way it humanizes all these somewhat stereotypical sidelined characters. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've played a black woman on drugs, right? How many times have I done that? But to play one who's recovering and trying to live, and how is she trying to live, and really get to see her full world, that you don't often get to see that character, fully fleshed out and realized, to the point where I have little tics, like I'm a hoarder. Like little things. Not a big part of the movie. It's just a little thing that, but it just goes to, we're trying to show you real people. And I think that's why people say that the movie has a heart. And I think that's why, because we really fleshed out, like, you don't know my struggle.
Absolutely. So that's quite interesting, because it's actually set in Los Angeles, and people think of California as glamorous and glitzy. But is this film also then a commentary on society as it is?
I think so. I mean, because there's more of kind of working class, struggling people in LA than anything. I mean, not to be really boring, but only 16% of the population can actually afford a home in Los Angeles. So most of us are just somehow, some way getting by. And I think it's a way to, let's bring some of these stories to light. And it's not just, I love the diversity of the film, because there's women, there's people of color, there's, really trying to deal with people coming out of jail. But it's not really trying to deal with it because it's fun and crazy and wild. But it's just enough, because we want to entertain, of course. But if it can actually be about a little bit of something, and then, getting into the whole sex trafficking with illegal immigrants and organ harvesting, it's a crazy world.
Sounds like an awful lot has been packed into this film, but at the same time,
Maybe so.
It must have been a lot of fun to play. You talked about it being comedy, so it's not just all it's not a crime thriller, gore and violence. There is a lot of comedy. Are there any moments that you remember in particular that stand out for you?
Well, the moment that really stands out for me right now was when we premiered the festival in Montreal at Fantasia. And I do something really cool at the end. All the characters do something really cool and redeeming at the end. And the audience just erupted into applause and cheers, and because they were somewhat, we sort of win, in the end, and just to see the audience ride down that journey with these people, these somewhat even unlikable characters, and love them at the end. That's the most amazing part of the movie for me.
Because the film has actually had a lot of high acclaim. People really do enjoy it.
I know, it's really bizarre. Go figure. I mean, you make movies, you do stuff. Especially this one was like a bunch of friends getting together, making a movie. There was really no money. And we begged, borrowed, and stole our way to this film. And the fact that people like it, love it, respond to it, want to see it, it's really something. And that's really all you hope for. I mean, I've been acting for such a long time. And to have a film that resonates with people is fantastic.
You have such a rich body of work.
Thank you.
You've done a lot of stuff on television, so much that we would have heard of here in the UK. 6 Feet Under,
yes.
ER,
yes.
Shield,
yes.
All real drama-based, gritty stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wondered what it was that actually particularly appealed to you about this film. What attracted you to the script?
Well, first and foremost, Ryan and I worked together on his thesis short, Narco Corrido, which won the Student Academy Award and did lots of festivals. So I just love working with Ryan. And after my series Lincoln Heights ended, I really wanted to focus on films. And so Ryan wanted to work together again, and I said yes. He brought me this script. I said, I'm not sure I get it, but I trust you. I trust your vision. He goes, I can see it. I go, okay, then let's go do this film. So I was more attracted to, I actually really liked the script, because reading it, every time you came to the end of a chapter was just like, oh my God, what's going to happen next? And then you kind of start over from another character's point of view as you're reading to the next chapter. But I was so on the edge of my seat reading the script. And I thought, this is great. There's a lot going on, but this is great. And I was like, how do we pitch this? How do we sell this? And wait, I don't know. So it was more just kind of being down for the adventure of it.
I mean, one of the characters, El Luchador, the Mexican wrestler, how difficult was it playing against someone whose face is actually behind a mask the whole?
Oh, Ricardo's so fantastic. It was really easy because he's so full, which you see when you see the movie. He has so much passion, and he's just like burning through his eyes through there. So it was pretty easy. I mean, everyone, it just really does a really great job, but that mask didn't stop him from it just was who he was. It was really funny. It just was, because really all you need to do is see the eyes, and that's all you got. But it was like any other thing.
So as you just mentioned there, this is a directorial debut for
Yes.
Ryan. It's his first feature-length film.
Uh-huh.
You've just said, or you've mentioned, you worked with him before, which did very well.
Yes.
Narco Corrido, as
Yes.
you said. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So are we seeing the beginnings or an emerging creative
Yeah.
partnership going on here?
Yeah, it's fun. All of us, because there's 5 writers on Lowlife, and I'm planning to work with some of the other guys on some stuff. Hollywood is hard. Making movies is hard. And I think when you find people you like working with, you just keep working together. And if we can all make a little bit more money, hey, fantasticness. I mean, because at the end of the day, we work very hard. You put in long hours. So we have lots of ideas of things that we want to do, that we've been trying to do. So this is very exciting, because one of the reasons why we did Lowlife was after Narco Corrido, Ryan got very popular, and the film was very successful in the short film world. He got a big agent. It was all very fancy, and you keep waiting for that thing to happen, they come knocking on your door, but they're really not going to come knocking on your door. And it was years later when he just finally said to me, we're just going to go make this movie. I'm like, okay, let's go. And you just do it.
So what's your next project?
Well, we got a couple. The one I like is a black woman who was on death row in Alabama for 15 years, wrongfully convicted.
Is this based on a real story?
Maybe. I'm not sure. I can't remember. Anyway, so there's that one. And then she comes out and starts a starts a detective agency to help right wrongs of other convicted people. So that's one I really like, and I think we're working on the script on that one. And there's just a couple other things, just ironed in the fire. So
Wow, I can't wait. But anyway, for now, it's Lowlife. So I wish you all
Yes.
the best with that.
Thank you.
Lowlife currently showing here in London as
Yes.
part of the FrightFest Festival.
Yes.
Nicki, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, and thank you guys I hope you get a chance to see the movie soon.